And it says we're live.
It lies.
Hello, all.
Hello, world.
Richard says, yay, woke up in time for my nap. Must be nice.
We just now sat down.
Yeah, sorry. Behind the are a hurting unit today.
It happens.
Yeah. Well, in Texas is on the national news because the Democrats have run to D.C. for cover because they don't want to come in and do what they're supposed to do.
They do not want to. They're trying to deny the House of Representatives and the House of Senate, the House and Senate, a quorum, so that you simply cannot have a vote because they know they'll lose the voter laws.
Yeah, which are not that bad.
Well, no. Also, it doesn't matter because Abbott will simply call. They can't live in D.C. for very long before they are no longer Texas citizens.
Yeah.
And Abbott can call and call and call and call, and every 30 days he can call another session. And
plus, they put out arrest warrants for them.
Oh yeah, they always do.
Yep.
Well, the last time when they fled to Ardmore,
it's not an arrest warrant; it's a bench warrant.
That's an arrest warrant.
Yeah, I thought they were different.
Nope.
Functionally the exact same thing.
No, RK, it's not the first time they've run away.
Oh God, no.
So, anyways, never dating the bearded lady at the circus again. I'm just saying.
All right then.
Okay.
But they do this. The Democrats. I don't know the Republicans have ever done it.
The Democrats have done it twice.
Oh, they've done it more than once.
Yeah.
The last time they went to Ardmore.
They're flat out lying about the Voters' Right Act that's going through.
Because
it expands the number of hours for early voting. It makes early voting. It expands the number of places for early voting. It makes voting easier.
Yeah.
It also
you just have to produce ID to vote, which they have a problem with.
Except, how much does it cost to get an ID in Texas?
Nothing.
Exactly.
If you can, honest to God, prove that you're indigent, the Texas Secretary of State will issue you an ID card for purposes of voting.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Stephanie says, I thought it was interesting they didn't forget the booze.
Well, I wouldn't call Miller Lite booze.
Yeah. No, apparently there were a few bottles on the airplane.
Oh, really?
Which was apparently paid for by the Democratic National Committee.
My shocked face. Let me show you it.
Yeah, I bet you probably one or two Texas Democrats on that airplane going, wait, I thought we were going to, they were not told why they were fleeing the state, or that they were fleeing the state.
Well, like I said, last time they went to Ardmore, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And the thing is.
But now they're going to D.C. because.
Better optics.
Yes.
Better optics. And I like they're being threatened with arrest warrants.
Yeah.
This is Abbott. There ain't no threat about it.
No, he's serious.
Yeah.
The other interesting part is, as Raptor points out, not a damn one of them wore a mask on the airplane.
No. Well, Texas has been open for a while now, so nobody.
Yeah, but it's the feds still have control over the airplanes, right? They're still mandating.
Except for private airplanes.
If it was chartered, then it's Part 35, and it's not a scheduled carrier, and it falls under all the
Yeah. Cedar says, loving a canoe beer. Yep, pretty much. And of course, Schumer is mouthing off as usual.
What does Schumer have to do with it? He's not a Texas.
Apparently, they all met with him.
They met with him
so they could get
his approval.
Their little heads patted.
Okay, where's Schumer a Democrat at?
New York.
New York.
Fuck him. He's got fuck all. He's got fuck all and fuck less than that to do with Texas.
Exactly.
Yep.
This is like when Pelosi spouts off about Arizona. I'm just like, who the fuck cares? You don't represent anybody in Arizona?
This is propaganda and politics.
Yeah, and now the NAACP is offering to pay the bail for the Texas Democrats.
Because the NAACP doesn't understand what's going on.
No.
Yeah.
Nobody read the bill. This is just like the Florida bill.
They never do.
This is just like the Florida bill.
Yeah.
Or Georgia, whichever one that literally expanded the voting rights by just.
But they're locked in. They're locked in on the ID thing.
Yeah.
Requiring ID to vote is just a bad thing.
Raptor responded to your earlier comment, says, yeah, you'd probably catch syphilis.
Right.
Or something.
What?
Oh, never date the bitter lady at the circus. And if she's multiple, like she's the bearded fat lady,
Yeah.
no.
At our case says, well, if the NAACP really wants to pay bail, make sure it's a really high bail. Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
if they get an outraged judge who sees the Democrats as doing what they are doing, is abandoning their sworn office,
Yeah.
Bail may be the least of their worries.
Yeah.
Well, this is Texas.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure Abbott or the Attorney General can find a judge who thinks exactly
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The funny thing is, we require an ID to purchase alcohol.
Yeah.
We also have drive-throughs.
Yeah.
Hmm?
God bless Texas.
Yeah.
For stuff. Okay, so drive-through alcohol,
Hmm?
right? And yet they have a problem with a voter ID because
Well,
we combine the Voter ID Act with the drive-through liquor stores.
Yeah.
well, okay. You need ID to open a bank account.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
need,
God, yeah.
You need ID to sign up for benefits.
You need an ID to get a phone.
In order to get your COVID benefits, welfare,
Yeah.
whatever,
You've got to have an ID.
you have to
You have to have
produce
an
an
ID.
ID.
Yes.
So the fact, oh, this disproportionately impacts minorities. No, every one of them I've arrested has an ID.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see how Harris spun it the other day?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Rural people
Us poor rural folks
Yeah.
can't
don't have access to a photocopier.
Right.
Well, no, we don't have access to Kinko's
To Kinko's. Yes, that's it.
because Kinko's is not in the rural area.
Poor Kinko's.
You know,
Yeah.
the funny thing is you can go down to the post office here in town, bug scuffle that it is.
Yeah.
And they'll have a copy machine there for you.
The library.
Yeah.
Every library in Texas has a
Has
copy machine that's
Yep.
open to the public.
Yep.
It may cost you a nickel,
Actually, it's a dime.
but I'm willing to bet if you walk in there dirt poor, the librarian we have a bug scuffle will pat you on the head and let
Yeah.
you make a copy of your ID for free.
She'd
Yeah.
probably cook you cookies at the same time. I mean,
Yeah.
she's, let's be honest, she's 100% not.
Richard was saying DC police would arrest him. Our response was, "You're living in a fantasy land. DC police don't arrest Democrats."
Okay, I hate to tell the Texas House Democrats this, but Texas is one of those states that claims jurisdiction over anything that happens that affects the state.
Yeah.
We claim the right, if you commit a murder in the state of Texas, we claim the right to go get you in whatever state you're in.
Yeah.
Because what happens in Texas, it's going to drag you back to Texas.
Yeah.
Yep.
If it involves Texas in any way, the classic example is the Webb County deputies on a horse at the Rio Grande.
Yeah.
And they look across to the international border to Mexico. And there's a bunch of guys dragging another man down to the beach. They make him kneel and they shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
Shove him off in the river. The Webb County deputies ride alongside the river, alongside the body, till it touches the Texas side, claim jurisdiction, go back to arrest them. They say, you, and they killed all of them. And
Yeah.
the Texas Supreme Court said, no, that's
Nope,
Yeah,
that's how it happened.
Yeah.
that's so there. Abbott is quite capable of rounding up about 5 Texas Rangers, saying, "Here's the warrants. Go to D.C. and get their butts."
I wonder if the LEOs that South Dakota and Iowa and all the other states have sent have been told that because they're operating under a Texas flag now.
Yeah.
So, hey, who wants a weekend in D.C. with a good steak?
Well, and then there's
Anybody with any sense would say no.
the reason why the mob isn't that active in Texas is you order something from Chicago or New York. It happens in Texas. You never set foot in Texas, but the consequences of your actions affected Texas. There'll be a Texas Ranger at your door.
Yeah.
And
Cowboy hat, Levi jeans, and a 45 on his hip.
Right.
God bless Texas.
And the Chicago PD will go, "You can't do that," and they'll see Texas Ranger and go, "But we won't get in your way."
Yes.
Yeah.
The Texas Rangers, there's something about them that a whole bunch of other agencies just go, "Yes, sir."
Yeah. Speaking of internet, found it rather interesting that the Cubans turned off all internet night before last.
That'd be the first thing
There
I do.
have been riots in the streets in
Yes.
Cuba. Not riots, mostly peaceful protests.
Most of the peaceful protests.
Yeah.
Yes, because I've seen a couple of dumpster fires.
Yeah.
Oh damn!
Except for when the
Whole damn island's a dumpster
Cuban
fire,
military came out and started shooting people.
Oh yeah.
which is what happens.
Oh,
Yeah.
Same things happened in South Africa.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they sacked up the ex-president.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got a couple of South African friends online that are
Well,
there's
apparently
a lot
the
of firepower in private houses in South Africa right now.
the South African police are pointing guns at the rioters and realizing that they're so outclassed that they're going away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of South African private citizens with
Well-
firepower I'm quite frankly jealous of.
Yeah.
Posted up in their houses just waiting.
Well, the fact that South Africans have been murdering farmers for a while.
Decades,
Yeah, for a while now, just to get them off the farm.
which
Yeah.
is something they learned from Rhodesia/Zimbabwe.
Yeah, so it's anybody with any sense has been stockpiling for a bit
Yeah.
now.
The problem with Cuba, though, is the fact that
It's 90 miles away from
it's
Florida.
90 miles from us, and all of a sudden, none of the Dems are making any comments about Cuba.
Ooh, has anybody asked Michael Moore how he feels about Cuba now?
He probably
apparently
still loves the health care system.
He apparently is ducking all media.
The
Bernie Sanders got asked, and he says, "Oh, well, they are
They're-
protesting for freedom."
They're not really. They're not really.
The other funny thing
Democrat.
is,
And Biden refused to say they're communist.
right, both Biden
And Schumer.
Pataki, whatever,
yeah.
Saki,
Psaki, whatever,
that redheaded
Yeah.
bimbo
and
that's his spouse.
CNN, all bent over backwards to not say the word communist
Oh yeah,
or communism, because that would make communism bad.
Okay.
And then we would have to somehow tie it to Trump.
Yeah.
Trump is responsible for Cuba being communist.
Yeah.
He was at the Bay of Pigs screwing things up.
well, they claim it's because he cut off funding is why they're rioting now. They've already made that claim.
Are
They made
you
that claim.
serious?
They made that claim
There's-
yesterday.
Oh, for God's sake!
They've also made the claim that it's because they aren't getting enough vaccines.
Yeah. Well, that's what
They
the
don't
law
care.
just said.
They don't care. The average Cuban doesn't give a damn.
No. What they're writing for is a little bit of freedom.
Yeah. Well, the
Yeah.
media's trying to spin it every friggin' way they can.
Oh God, yeah, because the media has decided that totalitarian systems are good and liberty systems are bad.
Yeah.
Therefore,
Oh, now Clyburn is sticking his nose into Texas.
the
Not
Clyburn
his
is
business.
crookeder than a damn dog's hind leg.
Well, South Carolina politics.
what
That son of a bitch, his district is about like Sheila Jackson Lee's down in Houston.
One street wide,
One street wide,
30
about
miles long.
30, 45 miles wide.
Oh crap, I forgot what I was going to say about Cuba. That's okay.
RK says Cuba is not really communist, just another totalitarian regime for pretending to be communist because it sounds good to them.
Actually, I can see that.
Raptor Clyburn is the Democratic congressman from South Carolina.
Clyburn never opposed voter ID. I call bullshit. Bullshit flag.
This is like them claiming that they didn't scream to defund the police.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
yet you've got
Talk about a bald-faced lie.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally got hours of 10-second clips
Yeah.
of all the Dems saying we need to defund
Yeah.
the police.
That's not what we meant. Defunding. We didn't mean defund the police when we called it defund the police.
Oh, the funny thing is AOC said, when I say defund the police, I don't mean defund the police. I mean get rid of it completely and come up with a better system for self-policing. And I'm just like,
That doesn't even track.
it's doubling down on the stupid.
But that statement does not even
And
track.
I've met my fair share of stupid bartenders, and I'm sorry, folks, there are some stupid bartenders out there. But
Yeah.
she really takes the biscuit.
Oh yeah, occasional cortex, yeah.
I'm wondering how she could make drinks unless she had the
Cleavage.
bartender's guide and had to look it up every time.
Cleavage.
It's New York. Everything is on an auto pour. Right? So you've got the bottles and they're hanging in these auto pours. So you put the glass up, do that, and that's exactly the exact pour because you can't free pour anything.
Yeah, but I'm saying for a mixed drink.
Oh yeah, well
Well,
she probably had a little list there. They asked for these, if they ask for something not on the list, you probably want. Hey,
Well, no, it's if you ask for something on the list, you got an appletini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey.
I'm willing to bet she can't actually mix a drink. She can do
Hey.
appletinis.
hey, now, don't diss the appletini. It is the manliest of manly drinks.
You couldn't even keep a straight face. But she lists about 5 food drinks that involve more sugar than alcohol, and that's what you got.
They never interviewed any of the bartenders that worked with her.
No, they sure didn't.
No, so you don't know what kind of.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to one of her partner bartenders.
Yeah.
After he stopped swearing, ask what his actual opinion of her was.
Yeah.
Or what? Just ask the barbacks what they thought of her.
The RK says, how dare ordinary humans demand to be treated better than dirt? Just who do they think they are? That's typical Democrat real think. Yeah, pretty much.
Still think that Cuba should have been the 50th state.
Yeah.
51st.
No, I think we should have gotten Cuba before we got Hawaii.
Yeah.
Well, Hawaii and Alaska were 47, 48. Bay of Pigs was 51.
I thought Hawaii was 50.
Yeah, it is the
50th
state.
I'm sorry, 49, 50. And then Bay of Pigs was 51, was it?
62.
And that was our opportunity to free Cuba.
We should have freed Cuba back during the whole charge up Kettle Hill.
San Juan Hill, yeah.
San Juan.
Well, we did.
Then we gave it back.
Yeah.
Cuba was
Spanish.
No, not after the Spanish-American War. It was
well, it was originally Spanish, and we took it away from them.
We made it autonomous, and it was during the up until Castro came in. It was a huge resort area that everybody went to.
Yeah.
You want to go gamble? Let's go to Cuba.
Yeah.
You want a weekend on the beach? You go to Cuba.
It was the Caribbean paradise.
It was the tourist destination of the Caribbean, and communism has turned it into
a shithole.
Yeah. But
like most communists.
Yeah.
For the other communist countries, Cuba is a tourist trap. Because as shitty as it is still
less shitty than other places.
Thinks that you had a good point.
About
the shuffling, the back and forth. You don't even remember what you said, do you?
I've had 1 cup of coffee today. I got up 2 hours ago. I've had 1 cup of coffee. No, I don't remember what I said. Shuffling. What was that? Refresh my memory. You don't remember either, do you?
No.
Babalog has some really great comments on Cuba. I really like the shirt. Was Putin riding the shark photo. Yeah, shithole, sort of like San Francisco. Now, Richard, it would only be San Francisco if it had 1950s cars.
No, it would be
Cuba
San Francisco if it didn't have laws against homosexuals.
Yeah.
Cuba still has a lot of 50s American metal driving around.
Yeah.
Of course, they're using a lot of engines and anything else they can cobble together from whatever.
But there are people, trust me, there are people in the car world that are just salivating.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, get a hold of a body like that, which is going to have no salt rust anywhere. Might have some sun damage, but that's always surface. And it's just,
that'd be a lot of money.
Of course, you'd have to tear up the Lada engine and unweld the mounts for the Lada engine from the front.
Well, that's literally 10 minutes.
Well, I said when Teddy Roosevelt got done conquering Cuba, we should have just, all right, you're the whatever, it's a state.
Yeah. I would definitely take Cuba over Puerto Rico.
God, yes.
Now,
actually, I'd trade them. I'd give them California for Cuba in a heartbeat.
That's what I was going to say. There are a lot of Cuban Americans. I hate to hyphenate that, but that's what they are, living in Florida.
Yeah.
That have family in Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
Still, and these riots are going on, and at some point the government's going to step in and just start shooting people.
Killing everything that moves.
It's a communist country, and you have to keep the body count up.
Well, they already have.
Yeah, it's important that you keep the body count up.
And what they're doing in Miami, I might have gotten a hint of something this morning. But apparently, a number of Cubans in Miami are loading up boats and heading south, planning to arrive in the dark of night.
Oh, damn.
Yep.
Well, they're loading up boats with people, guns, and ammo.
Yeah.
Lawyers, guns, and
Yeah.
money. Goodness, I've heard that song somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a surprisingly large Cuban element in Texas,
Yep.
and the Cubanos have glommed onto the Tejano culture.
Yeah.
And that's just not good.
Well, I can only take so much Zydeco music. I mean, let's be honest about it.
Well, Zydeco's Cajun. It's not
You're
Tejano.
thinking,
Yeah,
The violins.
no.
he's thinking accordions and oompa,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
tubas.
That's polka.
No, it's not
Tejano.
polka.
It's
It's
strong
Tejano.
Tejano influences.
Yeah. Hey, I grew up in the land of polka, schottisches, and waltzes. Okay, I know me a polka. Yeah, sure, you betcha.
Cuba protests lead to demonstrations in Miami.
Oh, you think
Yeah.
so?
Oh God, here we go.
Joel says if they shut down the net, they're killing people in job lots in the streets. Yes,
Oh,
they
yes.
are. Because one of the things, now this is the stupidity coming out of the administration. Oh, well, we have facilities in Havana and in Gitmo. We should let them use our internet.
I'm willing to bet they are. The Gitmo guys?
The
I wouldn't be
Problem
surprised.
is,
You've got to be within a certain range of getting them.
yeah, you got to be in range and you've got to have the right connectivity to be able to connect to it.
And I'm here to tell you that a Wi-Fi connection is really easy to find and
Yeah.
trace.
Yeah, it's just
I'm willing to bet they have the latest in ex-Soviet era.
a coffee can and some wire will get you a directional Wi-Fi antenna.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there is a less secured Wi-Fi for the Marines at Gitmo to send personal emails on, rather than a government system.
No, it's a government system.
Right, but it's not.
He's thinking there's a secondary that somebody's cobbled together.
No,
Yeah.
I'm thinking because the guys in the sandbox sent emails all the time, right? And I guarantee you, it's not the same system that the Green Zone is running for the
No,
facility.
it's an Internet 2 system. It's a commercial system.
Right, but it's a separate system than what the government
Right.
facilities are running.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that the guys at Gitmo could cobble up I'm pretty sure they have a coffee can somewhere.
RK wants to know why you think Cuban Texans adopting Tejano is not good.
Cubans have a very, very third world patriarchal culture. Bless their hearts. I love them for it. So do Tejanos. But the Tejanos have Cubans don't have the level of responsibilities the Tejanos, the patron of a Tejano family has a great deal of responsibilities that he must live up to.
Yeah.
The Cubanos don't have that. The Tejanos do. And the Cubans will go to fists really quickly. The Tejanos just go straight to guns.
God bless.
Well, they
Texas.
skip
God
knives after the whole thing with machetes.
They go straight to guns. So you've got a whole bunch of Cubanos with the Tejano familial obligation thing going on.
Carrying us down that says, Uncle Julio, we're with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the average Texan's access to guns. God bless Texas. We love them.
Yeah.
But I can see some Cubano Texas patriarch loading up.
Oh, I'm sure there's a 70-year-old ex-Liberty freighter out at Houston Port that's being loaded with guns.
Well, yeah, being loaded with DSA 58s right now.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of outraged patrons with the social obligations to go help their families.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's FNs. I'm pretty sure it's AKs and RPKs because
Yeah.
you might as well use their supply chain.
That point.
Brian, the Fitbit fiasco
Oh, Jesus.
was the fact that in 2015, 16, around in there, the bad guys figured out that Fitbits transmitted via the internet And that's how people were maintaining their fitness.
Yeah, they were jogging around their secure facilities, and
Yes.
Fitbit was tracking them every foot of the way and posting it where if you knew what you were doing, you could tell.
Yeah,
The exact outline of the camp
Yep.
where they were.
because they were running
They were on the perimeter.
the perimeter because the SPs or MPs or whoever had a path and then around
Yeah.
the perimeter that they could patrol.
Mhm.
Well, great. That's actually the longest path in that facility.
Yeah.
So if you want to run 5 miles,
And that was actually tied back to attacks that took place with both ISIS and
Taliban.
and the Taliban.
Well, anybody with an Apple or an Android phone is the same way.
Well,
Unless
you can actually turn an Apple off.
Yeah, you can turn an Android off too, but you have to know to turn it off.
Yeah.
The first time I got a ping, would you like to see last month's activity? I went, what the hell? I looked and it showed everywhere I'd been in the month. It's like, oh hell no, how do I turn this off?
This is why I'm not a big fan of the modern in-dash navigation systems on vehicles. Because very few of them actually have an in-dash navigation. They all tie to the phone. The phone is what does navigation.
They have an in-cloud navigation system.
Yes.
Well, actually, Chevrolet GM ties into the GPS. It's not tied to the phone.
Because
You
they
have
found out that a lot of people are getting it without phone.
If you've got the what is it, whatever they're calling, whatever their car network system is that you hook your phone to.
Yeah.
Where's it getting its maps from?
No, it's not.
No.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not,
On
Jim.
GMC's
When I
it's
went
not.
looking to replace one of my Ford,
I don't care what
Ford, it might be, but GMC's it's not.
GM
Okay.
does not.
okay, I'm telling you though, most of them, they get their maps and their routing from the phone because the phone has to be tied into it.
GMC was very specific. There were enough people that weren't packing a phone that they've got your sat downlink that downloads directly into your GMC.
Yeah.
Because they got upset because not enough people were getting behind the wheel with a phone, or they had their phone, or they weren't Bluetoothing. I never Bluetooth.
So let me
my
get this
system.
straight. You request a route from your GM nav system. It sends a signal up to a satellite. Satellite sends a signal to somebody else. They calculate your route and send everything back down.
Yeah.
That's just as bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not tied to. I'm not saying it's not as bad. I'm just saying it's not tied to your phone.
Yeah, but it's
If anything, it's worse.
Practically the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But just not tied to your phone.
You can get in-dash navigation systems that have onboard maps and routing
You get,
algorithms, but you have to
Built-in.
look for them.
Well, what GM has is onboard routing.
yeah, but I also have sat link to.
It's GPS. It is not sat linked. I've read the manual. It is not sat linked.
Okay.
Okay.
It's GPS. I can show you in the book.
Okay.
Cedar says I paid a hefty penalty to change auto insurances because they did not tell her they would be tracking all of her driving.
Who did you change from?
Yeah. Cedar, who did you have?
And how were they tracking you?
Apparently it was AAA,
And how were they tracking her?
probably off the maps.
Okay, I just want to say that Obi's been on a sky raisin tear the past couple of
How's
days.
he then?
Good.
Yes, and there's a sky grape flying around the house somewhere that he's after too. Big old horsefly.
He can have that SOB.
Jesus, the buzzing sound it makes.
Yeah. Koala says that's super cool onboard map system, paper version. Yep. I carry one of those in my car all the time. Yeah, Wayne, yes and no. GPS does use satellite nav, no question. But it is not reporting satellite positions.
No, GPS, a standard GPS receiver is downlink only.
That's correct.
It's receiving information from satellites. There's no way for it to send information.
That is correct.
Mostly because those GPS satellites they have up there are so small that to add a receiver to it, no.
Yeah.
No, plus their power consumption is such that the GPS signal you're getting doesn't have enough power to run a digital watch.
Yeah.
Right.
When you get it, when it finally hits your car or whatever receiver you've got, there's just not enough power there to do anything. It's strictly there. It downloads an almanac. It saves the almanac. Every now and again, it will update the almanac so that, and that's just so it doesn't take 12 minutes to get the first position.
Yeah.
Like the guys who had first gen GPSs know.
Oh yeah. 12 minutes if you were lucky.
Yeah, because every time you turned on, it had to download the almanac again. It couldn't save it.
Well, that was
try 20 minutes and 3 satellites that it had to see, and there were only 4 at that time.
Still a better deal than the SRP PDS system.
Yeah. Cedar says she had AAA and they required her to have an app on her phone with location turned on. No.
I'm very specific about what apps I allow Apple to have access to.
Yeah.
A, background refreshing, and B, location services.
Yep.
There's some really, you find out there's some really weird apps that use location service that you'd never think would use location service.
Well, it's on the I noticed on the Android, every app you download has a question: turn on location.
Yeah.
Why does Candy Crush need to have my location?
Exactly.
Which is why I don't have any of those games
Nope.
loaded.
Nope.
Oh, allow apps to request to track. Turn it off.
Yep.
That way they don't even ask. They don't even have the option.
Really?
It's not auto on anymore. If they can't, they have to.
Well, I know that the last 4 or 5 apps I've downloaded, in the EULA, there's a allow app to track your location, and it's you have to click uncheck the box.
Why does the App Store need location services? Not the Apple Store, where you buy physical Apple products. The App Store, where you download apps to your phone. Why does it need location services?
It doesn't get it on mine.
I download very few apps.
But even when you download an app, why does it need your location?
Yeah, exactly.
Brian says he uses USSA and has no apps. Yep.
What's USSA?
I don't know.
USAA or USSA?
It might have been USAA.
Okay.
I
That's
need
the bank.
Yeah.
USSA was the range that I worked at.
Yeah.
I actually got speaking of USAA, I actually got a email from them the other day asking if I wanted to re-up my membership. I had a USAA account 30 years ago.
Yeah.
God, that sounds bad. Oh, God, that sounds bad. But I had one about 30 years ago, and apparently they were going through their old records. Mr. McMurtry, would you like to reopen your USAA account? I'm halfway thinking about doing it.
I have an app called GW Events. It gives me an alert whenever there's a gravity wave event that's detected by any of the LIGOs or Virgos, right?
Okay.
It asks if you will let it use your tracking. And I'm like, why does the universe
need to know where I am?
Yeah.
Brian actually still goes to USSA to shoot.
Yeah, there's
the range you used to work at.
There's a stub of it left. Yeah. They sold the best parts to one of the PDs in the area. And the weird thing is, last time I talked to anybody who still was there, is you have to drive through the PD section of the range to get to the long range.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, and that ain't good because at some point the PD is just going to say, no, we're not going to let you drive through our range anymore.
Yeah. It's a liability if you drive through a range.
Yeah. So,
that would be a legal reason.
Yeah.
Steph says Google put a tracking app on people's phones in Massachusetts without permission.
Google's done that a lot. They did that with the glasses too. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Google's "Don't Be Evil."
Yeah.
Yeah.
They took the "don't" off that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they're trying to resurrect their Google glasses, and they're saying, "Oh no, trust us." The face recognition, which is what was tracking literally everybody.
Yeah.
If you have the glasses on and you saw somebody, Google is tracking them now, and it was just like.
Well, and the thing is they actually don't need to anymore because the default video surveillance you buy off the internet, the Ring system, already has is high quality enough that they can do facial recognition off those,
Right. Yeah.
which really sucks.
Yeah, but the ring system is your home, right?
Yeah, but
Right.
that should that
Google Glasses is if you're walking down Fifth Avenue in New York,
Mhm.
everybody you see gets
Well,
facial recognized.
I used to think it was kind of cute that my little lady had a rubber sticker over the camera on her smartphone. I am going to start doing that myself because it turns out that your phone, both Apple's and Androids, might be taking pictures and you not know it.
Mhm.
And those are good enough for facial recognition.
We're going to spend the rest of the hour on how paranoid we are, aren't we?
And Raptor says,
I don't think we're paranoid
Ian, you
enough.
don't understand. It's for our own good. They're benevolent overlords, not evil.
I for one welcome our
Yeah.
I for one welcome our evil robot overlord.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see a Canadian sniper team set a new record for a long range shot?
Canadians have been doing that a lot lately.
Well, it's their team setup.
Yeah.
They've got the shooter, they've got the spotter, and then they got two guys sweeping the air in front of the bullet.
Canadians are good. I gotta get, but I will tell you that there's a range down here in Texas. They found a part of Texas where fairly often the atmosphere is just right. That transonic bullet will create a vapor trail.
Yeah.
And they are setting monthly, if not weekly, they're setting new long range records.
That's where Charlie Melton did his 4-mile shot, which lasted less than a month.
Before it was broken.
Yeah.
You know, I swear to God, it's the two guys sweeping the bullet, the air in front of the bullet that are doing
Curving it.
Yeah.
Speaking of gun ranges.
Oh, speaking of Fitbit, apparently they sold out to Google.
Not surprised,
And
because the way Fitbit was set up was just evil enough for Google to take it and really run.
I'm wondering where the hell the same government that broke up Ma Bell is.
Yeah.
Because if Ma Bell was a monopoly, Google
Facebook, Amazon
is still accelerating.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that a third of it is owned by Google, a third of it is owned by Facebook, and a third of it is owned by one of the other huge internet things. So
Amazon.
So they can sit there and say, "Oh well, it's not a monopoly because we've got
It's a triopoly.
We've got my two brothers competitors.
it's four companies.
So it's a quarter each.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a monopoly because my three brothers here, competitors here are, and it's just.
Yeah, it's quadrupoly. Don't care.
Plus, there's that law. What is the
Brian says the question today is not if you're paranoid, but whether or not you're
Paranoid enough.
Yes.
Brian speaks truth.
Yes.
What is that law that allows
Yes, sir. And stickers over camera phones front and back is not a bad idea.
Nope. And she's been doing that for ages. And I used to think that was adorable. And now it's like, ooh, she was smart.
RK, that would be interesting. She says we need Wild Bill Donovan back to smash some monopolies again.
Oh, geez. Wild Bill Donovan was OSS. His version of Smash Monopolies involves silenced rifles.
Yeah, but he was a big time antitrust attorney before the war.
Oh wow.
I used to have a sticker over the camera on my computer, and then I took it off because I just enjoy the thought of that NSA guy puking every time he scans.
I know mine is either. I'm pretty sure mine's on anti-anxiety.
Is he
meds.
shirtless?
Yeah,
That's
Cedar
not
send me a copy of that article too.
I'm just.
That's not a sweater.
Duct tape covers up a lot of camera lenses. Yeah.
Well, the only problem with duct tape is sometimes I do want to take a picture and duct tape leaves residue. But I have the thought of my assigned NSA agent crying in the shower makes me smile.
Well, the fun part is when you go into a hotel room spotting whether or not it has cameras.
Oh,
I do that out of habit. I was trained to do that.
Yep. So was
I check any hotel room I ever went into. I checked the outlets, the drapes, and the lampshades out of habit.
Yeah.
Well, I still thread the door and the locks. Rita asked me what the hell I was doing one time. I said, nothing, honey. I still thread the doors and locks when I leave.
Yeah.
Granted, that's old tech and probably everybody knows it by now, but it's just habit.
It works.
It's habit.
Hey,
If it gets
Sarah
old-
Singleton made it. Yay.
If it gets old enough, the professionals stop checking for it because
Yeah, I used to have a spool of olive drab thread in my carry-on.
Yeah.
And then
Oh.
somebody smacked me over
no,
it.
if you're just get one of those little emergency button repair kits
Yeah,
that they have
That's
for
what I've got
airports.
now. That's what I've got now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got several colors to choose from.
I rushed out of a hotel room one time because I walked in and one of the olive drab threads that was on in between my clothes that were hanging
Yeah.
was laying on the floor. And I was like, "What? We're going out." What? And I went back and swept looking for idiots and couldn't find one. I was like, okay. And Bree was going, the hell was that?
Yeah.
Nothing, baby.
The last time I stayed at relocated Russian mobster hotel in Bulgarado,
Yeah.
the last
I
night,
threaded that place like, oh God.
well, okay, so the there were no cars in the parking lot except mine, so
Yeah.
the place was empty, right? And I get back there Sunday night,
Yeah.
and he put two families of travelers in the one hotel room next to me.
Oh boy.
And this is what it was like 11 or 12 at
Yeah.
night when I finally got. I'm like, no.
Well,
Packed my shit, threw it in the truck, gave him the key, and drove home. Because
it's a motor court, which
Yeah.
sets my teeth on edge.
Yeah.
And two, how the hell somebody with a Russian accent that thick
Yeah.
got in the middle of rural Colorado
No.
really makes me
no,
concerned.
no, he's in Witsec.
Yeah.
And this is where they're hiding it.
And he's got the typical, I mean, not only does he have the Russian accent, he's got the Russian attitude to go with it.
Yeah.
So when I said I would like a room on the second floor, you will take room I give you. No, I want one on the second floor. I'll go somewhere else.
No, not the one of the two floors, the single floor one is
Oh.
north of it.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in Witsec, and I don't think I've ever seen him wear short sleeves because I'm pretty sure that he's tattooed up
Yeah.
the wazoo.
Our case
I've
is
stayed
one of
there.
our networks is named FBI Van 3. Another one is Get Off My Lawn. And they are not the ones we normally use.
Rita's brother's
You got a honeypot's what you got, RK.
Rita's brother has a Wi-Fi network named Hitler's Inflamed Prostate.
Because who wants to connect to
Yeah,
that?
who wants to connect to that one?
Yeah.
You are connected to Hitler's inflamed prostate. No.
No, I feel dirty just thinking about that.
Speaking of inflamed prostate, the Navy,
I don't like inflamed prostate and Navy in the same sentence.
They go together
infinite
though.
frickin' wisdom,
Oh,
by direction of DOD, is taking money and time away from basic seamanship training
oh, bloody hell.
for diversity training.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yes,
It's mandated now.
mandated.
DOD, who's obviously the boss of all the military branches, is
Yeah.
mandated diversity training. That was a couple of years ago. They're also getting close to mandating critical race theory.
Yeah. But what they're doing is they're literally taking funding and time. And I'm
Because
not
you got to
talking
pay for it somehow.
days,
Yes.
I'm talking weeks
Oh, for fuck's
of
sake.
training time away. And in their infinite friggin' wisdom, they're also cutting flight hours yet again.
Yes, because the Dems, whenever they get in power, do this every time. And the last time they were, not the last time, the time before, when Clinton was in power, they cut flight training and for all services to the point that you were not staying competent,
Oh, yeah.
and you definitely were lucky if you're staying current.
Well,
Is
it was-
anybody noticing that what's on the Chiron?
yeah.
What's that?
Harris is meeting with the
The
Texas House.
NEPADS in chief is having a meeting with Texas House Democrats right
I
now.
mean, Kinko's Harris?
Well, it was even worse under Carter
Oh yeah,
because we would come back off deployment in the 70s and go what was called cold iron. So if you were in a ship, you tied up to the pier, shut everything down unless you were a nuke, which had to stay powered up because they never shut down.
No, they do.
No, they do not.
I had a buddy of mine. He was a newkie on a sub, and it was in dry dock.
That's the only time they shut down is to redo
They still stood. The newkie still stood.
Oh, yeah,
watching.
they still,
Yeah,
still stand and watch.
yeah.
But it was the same thing in aviation. We would come back off deployment, go cold iron, and not fly for 30 to 45 days. Well, pilots have to fly every 30 days to maintain basic competency.
Well, they changed that to 90.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's worse.
But back in the 70s, it was every 30 days. So when it was your turn in a barrel to go fly, you would load up 6, 7, 8, 9 pilots, a full bag of gas,
They'd all get 15 minutes.
and you'd go fly for 8 hours doing airways navs. And as soon as you burn down the fuel landing weight, max landing weight, you'd start doing the landings. So you would spend 8 hours in the air either drilling back and forth between the Hawaiian Islands to get your airways caught, or you'd be spending 4 to 5 hours in the back of the airplane going thud.
My kidneys. Oh my
And the
god.
thing is, and that's basic airmanship.
Yeah.
You've got mission airmanship. You have to be able to do. You have to be able to know how to drop sonobuoys, track sonobuoys, get the patterns down.
Yeah.
And you don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine. He was Blackhawks during Clinton's administration, and they spent 3 months, 3 solid months. This is one entire quarter planning one weekend's a training activity because that's all they have the budget for.
Yep.
So they squeezed everything into that one weekend. They got it all pared down, and the month before it was sent to happen, some senator showed up and they blew that entire budget, ferrying him around the post because he wanted to fly around in choppers rather than drive around.
Yeah.
So they didn't get any training done for a half a year, 2 solid quarters.
I remember senior NCOs, you get them liquored up when I was in the 80s, and they would talk about the Carter years.
Yeah.
When rifle marksmanship was taught with 2x4s and yelling bang.
Well,
this harkens back to pre-World War, and I shouldn't say pre-World War II, I should say just prior to World War II, where we had tank written on the side of the truck.
Yeah. Well, RK's right. We were reduced to rationing paper clips and toilet paper in the military. And the only time to the best of my knowledge, the military has not received a paycheck on time was under Carter. But it was so bad.
Sequestration.
I was about to say,
Sequestration under Obama.
Okay,
Sequestration.
that's the second time.
Yeah, that would be the second time. And guess what? They're both Dems.
No.
But it was so bad, the end of the physical year, the last day of the physical year, we would go out and pump down to a minimum fuel load in the airplane so they could pump it back into the fuel supply.
Oh, that's big no.
We were that desperate.
Yeah, I know, but there's all sorts of contamination issues.
Yeah, but they would pump it back in, and then at 12:01 a.m., the fuel trucks would pull back out to put a ramp load back on the airplane. And it was required. It was not optional. It was required. Contamination aside, you had to do it.
Yeah. I mean, there was when I was in Korea.
Yeah, Richard, new delivery calls and certs was another big issue back then.
My unit, which did intermediate maintenance, ran out of money in September, and it wasn't Army-wide, it was just my unit. And we spent a month of we'd get a morning formation, and we'd get to the hangar, and Sergeant Powell, our squad leader, would go, okay, go to that corner, wait 3 or 4 minutes, then you with the clipboard, take them and walk quickly like you have a purpose, diagonally across the hangar, and then hide in that corner for a few minutes, and then do the same thing. And we would do that all morning long because we'd run out of money, so we couldn't take any maintenance in. But that left us free to do things like paint rock,
sweep the landing pad,
sweep the dirt, not the landing pad, sweep the dirt.
Oh God, I remember fog walk downs.
Oh yeah.
Pod walk downs, for anybody that's never heard that term, foreign object damage is the bane of
Jet engines.
jet engines. And you are required to do FOD walk downs prior to flight schedules.
You have to get out and walk.
The fun thing is watching the aircraft carriers do it.
Yeah.
Because they sweep them every day. I think. Yeah.
They sweep them twice a day.
Those poor buggers.
Well, they get lined up.
Yeah.
Edge to edge.
Yeah.
And then walk.
You're literally almost shoulder to shoulder. You walk down the entire length of the flight deck, picking up anything that's loose gear on the deck.
It's not nailed down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you find a lot of stuff. Safety wire, rivets, screws, washers, nuts, and you're wondering what airplane did this fall
Light
off
bulbs.
Of? Yeah.
What did this fall off of?
Yeah. What did it fall? It's just like
Oh, damn.
our sergeant major when I was at Campbell had a FOD detail. It was a punishment detail, and you would FOD walk the grass around the battalion or squadron area. And it was funny because depending on how many guys were on punishment duty, was how wide you held your arms, and then you in line your arms held, and kind of touching the guy's arms. Actually, you'd walk down looking for FOD, and you better find some.
Yeah. RK said weapons quals were limited to X number of rounds per person, no exceptions, and used gas mask filters over and over until they literally stank.
Yes.
Ugh.
The idea being that they would issue you fresh ones if the balloon ever went up, but nobody knows where the fresh ones were coming from.
Yeah.
But supply didn't have them.
And
The thing is, the Brits learned this during the Boer War.
Yeah.
Prior to the Boer War, they had an allocation of like 50 rounds a year for your average soldier
Yeah.
to practice shooting.
Yeah.
Right? And then the Boers so outmatched them in long distance and just basic rifle marksmanship that by the end of the Boer War, the Brits were like, okay, first off, we need better rifles. Secondly, we need to fucking train with them. And they kind of carried that through the rest of the up to present. But oh my God, it's the same lessons being learned over and over again.
Yeah. RK said when Carter came to Fort Hood, Boku bucks were wasted to literally paint the grass green. Yeah, I can believe that.
That doesn't surprise me. Army.
I remember, was it Bush gave a speech or one of the, and they took the followers' base plates and springs out of the magazines that they had inserted into the rifle.
Why?
Yeah.
Because that way they couldn't shoot.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
Because that's the level of knowledge your basic government functionary. Remember, government wasn't a career. Government was where you sent the incompetents.
Yeah.
And
until you could find them a job somewhere else.
right.
I can remember some places where a government job is not considered a good job.
Yeah.
And not a good paying job.
No, and it's
Which
not
is the way it
supposed to
should be.
Yeah.
Richard says Camp Walker, Taegu, Korea had a light aircraft strip landing pattern that flew over the range. Rifle calls unit had to drop Prick 25 to contact tower when they went out, so that nobody would fly through the.
And you know there was a few privates out there that would see the airplane flying over and pop a couple of shots at it.
Yeah.
Because they're
I can remember UN detail where we were off somewhere that doing UN stuff. And K4? I forget.
Yeah, probably K4.
And is it that or Northern Ireland? I can't remember, so long ago. That we weren't allowed to have magazines in our rifles. We could have loaded magazines that had to be on our web gear. And allegedly, somebody may or may not have ordered his section to load a magazine, load the top round in the chamber, remove the magazine, put it in your web gear, because I wasn't going to be out there where people are shooting at us and not be able to shoot back.
you'd at least get 8 rounds off.
Yeah. Bingo.
Yeah.
If I had been caught, they'd have court-martialed me, but fuck that. You're very worth it.
Sarah Singleton, RK was talking about the tarantula migrations and the cricket infestations.
At Fort Hood?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Sarah Singleton said, when the tarantulas saw the cricket problem, yeah, it would have had to been different years.
It'd be different parts of the year.
Yeah.
The tarantulas migrate during mating season.
Yeah.
The crickets during the growing season, and they're not the same.
I lost a private one time because he he bedded down in a creek bed. I told him not to. He did it anyway.
Yeah.
And he said, they're not going to flash flood me. I said, oh, you don't care. Get out of the creek bed. Well, I wandered off to do it. And he's like, it's true, the sergeant. And apparently woke up in the middle of the night covered in tarantulas.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I have had that happen to me.
He was chaptered out.
Well, he probably had a phobia against spiders.
Happened to me at Philmont Scout Ranch.
Well, at Fort Hood, everything at Fort Hood is either a rock that explodes. I'm not a cute term for ordnance. I'm talking the rocks at Fort Hood explode.
Yeah.
Or, the mesquite has thorns 2 inches long. The jumping getches all over the place. But in the creek bed, it's clean white sand and nothing that grabs you. So
the big thing is in a desert environment, you want to sleep where there's airflow because it keeps the skeeters off you, if nothing else. So you pick the top of a hill.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have that choice. It's Fort Hood.
Yeah.
So
there's still a bump somewhere you could climb on top.
You could snuggle in amongst the salt cedars, and the mesquite, which rain ticks on you.
And RK says, and remember the sand fleas?
Oh,
yeah.
No, I'm itching. Damn it.
I know.
Thank you, RK.
But so he bedded down in an arroyo that was 10 feet across and was fine white sand.
Because it was soft.
It was soft, and the trees weren't dropping ticks on him.
Yeah.
Well, I told him to get out of there and walked off to do what I was going to do, and he apparently went to the Sarge and just bedded down. I didn't go check on him because I had stuff to do, and the scream at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
when he found out he was covered in tarantulas was music to my ears. And I said, we chaptered him out 2 weeks later. So it broke him.
Koala goes. And that's why you got a cute little Air Force bases with their extra pillows and air-conditioned tents.
And maids.
If the Air Force can't find at least a Holiday Inn Express, they won't deploy there.
We had...
No, I'm serious. Combat zone, their first question isn't, is there a Waffle House and is it open? It's, hey, is there a Holiday Inn Express that has TV in every room and free Wi-Fi? Nope. Sorry, you have no air cover. We can't go there.
We had 3 senior airmen from the Air Force deploy to Rosie Roads for a Navy op as combat air controllers. They refused to stay in the BOQ because it was not good enough quality.
Mm-hmm. They're enlisted.
They were E3s.
Yes.
We had one 15-passenger van for 2 crews, which was 24 people. They each got a rental car, and they went downtown San Juan, Puerto Rico, and stayed in the best hotel in town.
I would, first off, I don't care where you are in Puerto Rico. I want to be on base because that's the only safe place there is in Puerto Rico.
Kidding.
So these guys are idiots. I told you, Campbell Army Airfield's big airfield.
Yeah.
And the Air Force and the Navy used it when they're flying transcontinental because full facilities, right?
Helicopters. Yeah.
Well, no, the Navy jets would land there too because it was kind of sort of close to halfway.
Yeah.
But the Air Force came on post, inspected every building on post.
Oh, yeah.
And condemned them all as unfit for human habitation, including all the barracks that everybody was living in.
Yeah.
And they literally contracted the Holiday Inn Express or whatever off base that they found to house the transients. And I'm just like, my barracks is unfit for human habitation.
Yeah.
Well, I give the Puddle Pirates a lot of hell because I love the Puddle Pirates. They're great guys. I give the Air Force worse.
Well, come on, the Air Force has, they're doing chair sit-ups now for their what are they doing for PT? I don't think they're doing PT anymore.
Yeah, they're not.
Hell, I don't think the Army is either.
I think the Air Force is you have to go to a buffet and push away from the table 5 times.
Richard says, M14 blank without the blank adapter will crush a rattler's head at 0-inch range under the porta potty at night.
A M16 with a blank and no blank adapter and a cleaning rod will flat do for an armadillo at about 20 feet.
That's the only thing, because 45 bounces off of armadillo.
Yeah.
I swear to God, 20 feet, I could not have missed it.
And on that note, folks, we wasted another hour
And
of your
we
time
did not
today.
discuss food today.
We talked about armadillo.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not food.
Possum on the half shell.
Possum on a half shell does not count. Y'all be safe, have a good week, stay dry, stay cool, especially if you're out west. Apparently, the heat wave is expected to continue through the rest of the week out there.
We haven't seen a 100-degree day consistently yet.
No.
It's
We should.
mid-July.
We should. Well, it's mid-July. I should have a brown, crinkly yard, and I'm still having to mow the damn
We
thing.
should have had 30 days of 100-degree
Yeah,
plus
no
temps.
kidding. We should
Not-
have,
Not feels like 100 plus.
No.
Actual 100 plus.
Remember, folks, don't sweat the petty stuff, don't pet the sweaty stuff.
Be safe, guys.
We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
And I was serious about the bearded lady.